Hello everybody, this is Dr. Colosimo, and we're here today to provide the third episode of what we are calling the Weekly Juan Diego. I'm here with Mr. Nate Tack, who is the assistant principal at Juan Diego Catholic High School, and today we're going to talk a little bit about construction. Welcome, Nate.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you talk a little bit just generally about all the projects that have gone on, the stuff that went on this summer, the tennis courts, and then the big project that's going on at the south main entrance of the high school?
For sure, it's an exciting time. We are doing a lot of construction. We've got probably about 3 major projects going on right now. We've got a huge expansion at the south entrance that includes a lot of different things, and then we've got the tennis courts getting redone, and then we did a lot this summer. So this summer we expanded our cafeteria in the commons and added about 200 additional seats for students to alleviate some of the pressures at lunchtime and allow for one high school, one middle school lunch. Kind of cleaned up some small spaces in the building to make it more
But when we did
functional.
that, we moved the apparel store,
Yeah,
right?
yes,
So we
that's
took,
the big change too.
explain that, like what
Yeah,
happened?
so now we're excited. You can get to the apparel store from outside. So if you come to the plaza off the commons, there's a direct access to the apparel store. So we had to move the apparel store to make room for about 200 more seats in the commons this summer, which is quite the task.
Yeah, but it's a better configuration.
Much better
And the
configuration.
students are liking the
students seem to like it. We just finished putting a door in, and they are kind of excited. They're like, ooh, we can go outside maybe. So like that's kind of exciting too.
Yeah.
So
then we also fixed the area for campus life. We created a new space by the chapel, right?
Yep, so we opened up a space down by the chapel and made it a little bit larger. We took out a couple of individual offices and made it more of a classroom setting to allow for campus life programs to be close to the chapel, but still have access to our campus life staff, Michelle Moynihan and Father Michael Gustin.
Right, and then we did some fixes in the library to help with the testing center.
Yeah, so in anticipation of like the changing needs of kids and private testing and individual tests and accommodated students, we kind of closed in a space to make a private, quiet space for testing.
Right, so that was phase 1, which is all that summer construction, and then just as soon as that finished, we started like the 1st of August with the tennis court.
Yep.
And what had to happen with the
Yeah,
tennis
so
courts?
the tennis courts have kind of hit the end of their useful life, right? They've had crumbling and cracks the last couple of years, and so we needed to address that. And to do that, we are basically grinding up the existing tennis courts, coming back in with new concrete and some tension cables running across to hold it all together, and pouring 5 new tennis courts in that space.
So the big difference was for 25 years the tennis courts have been made of asphalt.
Yep.
And that has a usable life of about 15 years.
And we stretched it.
Right, and stretched it. And now with the concrete, the usable life will be longer.
Yeah, a lot longer, hopefully, and and it will make for a more functional tennis space for students.
Yeah,
that'll be
so
nice.
that's the good news. The bad news is it's happening at the exact
Right.
same time that the South Main construction.
Right.
So everyone knows about that
Yes,
because of the
everyone can
traffic.
tell.
But what are we doing out at the South Main entrance?
That's an
What's
exciting.
happening?
That's really exciting. I refer to it as 3 things. It's the new black box theater, which will be kind of awesome for plays, productions, even just meetings and smaller things for kids from kindergarten to 12th grade.
So for those that don't know, we have operated, it's been fine for 25
Yeah.
years in this thing that we call the Little Theater,
yeah.
which is really just 2 classrooms put together. And it's been great for lots of meetings and even small plays, but now what we'll have with the Black Box Theater is what?
So it gives us an opportunity to seat about 300, 350, and it's an open room. I mean, it's a larger ceiling, more space, and it gives you an option for theater in the round.
But it's designed for theater.
for this,
whereas
right, the black box is just a room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. The
Yeah.
Little Theater is just a room.
Yeah,
The Black
the
Box is a real theater.
A real theater. The little theater is just a room.
So what else are we doing with that
So then
expansion?
once you so the black box sits right at the west side, and then it will swing around, and there's 8 new classrooms going in there that will connect in towards by the boys' locker room and the weight room, and then there'll be a courtyard space in the middle, which is kind of something we don't have here, but a nice enclosed
An
courtyard.
outdoor learning space. And so some of the thinking of it is that it'll benefit middle school and high school and will give over classrooms. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I mean, as part of our kind of growth plan, it allows us to shift some of our high school classes down towards the south entrance into those new classroom spaces, and then open up spaces at the far north side for the middle school. And we've already
so
kind
for
of done
those who
that.
don't know, our middle school is in the A wing of the high school. They've been there from the very beginning, but they're needing, because they're growing, they're needing more space, and it was logical to give them space in what is the current high school, and then let the high school students wrap
Swing
around
around,
and take up those 8 classrooms.
Yep.
right? So it's going to benefit the high school and benefit the middle school. And
Yep, it's a big project, but I do find that, I mean, I presented to the elementary school parents at their back to school night, and I've talked to different families. It's going to benefit kids on campus all the way through. It's quite an expansion, but it's a good expansion to help alleviate some of the growing things that we've experienced.
so the summer projects are done.
They're all done.
The tennis court project will be done approximately when?
We're thinking about November, hopefully. You know.
So it may be that the boys' tennis season in the spring, they could use the new tennis
Hopefully.
courts. But the girls will miss
The girls
out.
have been missing out
Yeah.
this year, but they're excited.
Next year they'll have it.
Yeah.
And then when do we think the South Main expansion is going to be completed?
That's the question everyone wants to know. I mean, it would be nice. We're hopeful that, you know, maybe next year we'll get into it, but it's looking about October.
Yeah, so it's going to take more than a year to construct, and our hope is that by the end of the first quarter of next year, it'll be done, and hopefully the traffic is alleviated to begin, because most of the construction by then, by next August, will be completed, and we should be able to open up the ring road again.
Yeah, the ring road having to close has made some traffic snarls, but we're figuring it out as we go.
Yeah,
You know?
and the parents have been good about adjusting, and our students have done a good job of that as well. So, price of progress sometimes is you get a little bit inconvenienced.
You get a little inconvenience in the short term.
So that's exciting, and thank you for being here. And that wraps up our third edition of the Weekly Juan Diego. We'll see you next time. Thank you.